Welcome to the small Scape. We are doing a response video to Mr. Primetime's video of the 5 best in the world, 5 best schooling fish. Now I have my 5 top picks and I've got a bonus one that I don't think anybody would ever consider, but I think it should be definitely honorably mentioned. But before I forget to tell you, I will include his video so you can compare and contrast. You can, let us know who did a better job, which ones you agree with, which ones you don't, and I'm sure there's going to be some that should have totally made our list that you could include down below. And I will also include all of these species profiles that we've done in the past. They'll all be down in the description, or I'll pop them up at the top over there somewhere. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so how did I make my choices? First of all, they must school nicely, obviously. Number 2, they should have a fun personality and not be too shy so you can see them schooling. And then number 3, I'd like them to be kept in a 20-gallon tank or less. Number 5, the white cloud. I'm choosing this one because it's a favorite fish of mine. Yes, it's kind of basic, but I think they stay together very nicely. They are super fun to watch. They're super beautiful. They're even fun to keep outdoors in the summer in a pond. Love to do that. They look like green neons to me when they're babies. And this tank, fun fact, is one of the 4 that we had in the studio, which has now been moved in the basement. But this tank I actually just broke down today because I am, of course, working on the studio. It will become my area, but this was such a fun tank and fun schooling fish that I highly recommend that you try. You can keep it, this is like a 8.5 gallon or so anywhere there, maybe I would say like a 10 gallon roughly speaking. You can keep 6 to 8 of them, so a nice little number of them, and they're just super fun, super peaceful. I've even kept them with a mono shrimp. They stay towards the top of the tank, so that does in fact make them perfect for ponds and pond viewing. If you have a shallow tank, they're just super fun choice, and they school together nicely. And of course, great choice for a tank without a heater. Coming in at number 4 is the Dwarf Rasbora. Now you may not consider this a striking schooling fish because of their very diminutive size. They are super tiny, but I do love nano fish. I love all things tiny, so I had to have a tiny fish on my list, and this is pretty much the smallest schooling freshwater fish. It is very closely resembling the Mr Rasbora or the Chili Rasbora, but these guys I find just have such a fun personality, and they do stay together very nicely in a little group moving around the tank. I've kept them in this tank, which is a 5 gallon, so you can go very small, and this one I had maybe 10 of them in there, and of course you can multiply up and bump up the tank size. Number 3, the red Cherry Tetra, otherwise known as the Mzul Tetra. These are a stunning fish. So if you are looking for some fun schooling behavior and also a huge amount of color, you definitely want to check these guys out. Super fun, and I think they're with that little twitchy tetra sort of behavior. I think they're so fun to watch, and that color, you cannot beat it. Any kind of scape you have going on, you will not miss them. They will be a centerpiece to the tank. You'll get to see them from across the room. Really beautiful. I just love watching these fish, and kind of an honorable mention within this group, I also really like the Pristella Tetra. I've had those before. They school very nicely, but they just don't have half the color that these guys have. You just can't beat the color, and they're just kind of a wow sort of fish, so I just absolutely had to have them on my list here. Number 2, the black neon. Now, if you know me, my favorite fish is the green neon, and you may be shocked that I did not pick the green neon. I would kind of like to just bring them up, that they are also a very fun choice. They don't necessarily have a really stunning schooling behavior. They're more like pokey. They're like kind of little groups that kind of poke around. They can be a little bit more shy, but these black neons, don't underestimate them. They may seem boring compared to the cardinal or the standard or, of course, my green neons, but they do have a very pretty little subtle blue color that shows up, and just with that red around their eyes, they're just so much fun to watch, and they stay very nicely together. I do really kind of miss this tank. It was along with my little blue Grammy there. His name was Emmett. He was quite special. His fins were a little messed up, but I used to love watching this tank for quite some time, like nearly an hour at a crack, and it was just so much fun to watch these guys. And I know this is kind of a lot of people's favorites when it comes to neons. They're very hardy. They're a little bit larger, so you can see them better, and you can quite possibly keep them with slightly larger fish. But you can keep a nice size in a 20-gallon long, at least 10 or 12 of them. What is my number one pick? That is the silver tip tetra. Yes, it's another kind of basic fish. A lot of people probably wouldn't go out of their way for them, but when I first saw these at a fish store, I absolutely had to have them. And their tails, the little silver tips, it's very sparkly. They strike me as very sparkly. They have almost like a silver and a gold going on. And when you see these guys school, when we first put them in the tank, I mean, look at them. Look at them. It's absolutely stunning. And it just reminds me of Finding Nemo. That scene when all the fish are swimming together, the silver, and they just kind of make waves with like the color. Oh, they're just absolutely mesmerizing. Now for my honorable mention, yes, the Cory cat, Corydoras. I think they're a super fun schooling choice for the bottom of the tank. You just haven't lived life until you've seen a pile of little Corys. They're goofy, they're fun, they stick together, and they're just unlike anything else. And they're going to give a lot of activity towards the bottom of the tank. The panda Cory is adorable. The gold lasers, which I just showed a little while ago, beautiful. There's so many beautiful different varieties. There's long fins, but these little pandas crack me up. They do kind of stay on the smaller side for a regular Cory, but you have the Habrosus Corys, you have the pygmy Corys, just so many different kinds of Corys that you just can't go wrong, and they're just a goofy, fun addition and really a great schooling fish choice, I think. So that was my 5+1 choices for the best schooling fish, especially when we're talking 20 gallons or less. Let me know your thoughts. Which ones did I forget, and which one's your favorite? See you next week.